So people who watch this program really seem to love the drops, the sound effects. And today's episode is about abortion, and I don't know which sound effect to play for that. Sorry. I'm doing my best, guys. So let's take a look at this. This is a pretty big story. I'll read this headline from the Nation, as I call it. The Supreme Court may have just signed Roe v. Wade's death warrant. The newly ultra-conservative court has agreed to hear a direct challenge to the landmark 1973 abortion case, a move that can mean nothing good.
This is something I have a lot of problems with.
You are morally obligated to beat a kid in Walmart.
The frontal attack will come next year. On Monday, the Supreme Court agreed to hear Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization. At issue in the case is the very concept of fetal viability. Mississippi passed a law in 2018 outlawing abortions after 15 weeks of gestation. So this is a violation of Roe v. Wade because the law gives more time for an abortion, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, Mississippi's law is unconstitutional on its face, this article says. So Mississippi passed this law. They were like, you can't have no abortion. Okay, I'm not going to get into being mean to people living in Mississippi. I'm just kidding, guys. Calm down. I'm just kidding.
Reckon what you like to eat in there.
So we'll look at this organization in a second, this abortion clinic in a second. It's really kind of interesting and funny in a weird way. The Jackson Women's Health Organization won its case in federal court. So Mississippi passed this law. This abortion clinic was like, yeah, we're going to take that to court. And here's what happened. This is kind of funny. The case then made its way to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, the notoriously conservative circuit court that oversees Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. There, you're not going to believe this. Interesting twist here. There, the Mississippi law was thrown out on a rail. Even the Trump-appointed conservative ideologue, Judge James C. Ho, concurred with the majority ruling that the law was unconstitutional. So, now it's going to the Supreme Court. This abortion clinic in Mississippi has kind of been, a lot of people have written about it. It's kind of a This American Life story type of thing. It's like the one abortion clinic in Mississippi. So it's kind of like, whoa, how do you deal with that? And very interesting story, of course, but I found this YouTube video. This only has 2,100 views. It was uploaded in 2012, and it's a security camera on this abortion clinic. This is the thing that they have to deal with at this clinic. If you watch this video, there's a guy, just some Mississippi people. I'm kidding, okay? I'm giving you a little bit of a hard time. Some Mississippi guy. I'm from Mississippi. I'm just kidding. I know you guys are cool. Calm down. But this is what they have to deal with at this clinic. This dude decides, because this clinic is like, it's a target for just vandalism and to protests and all this stuff. This guy starts breaking their sprinkler system. The lady who runs the place, she's been interviewed a bunch. I think she's been on like Democracy Now! And stuff like that.
I want to see us talking about real people who are walking around wondering where their next meal's coming from, wondering how they're going to support their parents, how they're going to send their children to school. That's what the people in this country want to worry about. This is absurd. We're talking about fertilized eggs. This is all part and parcel of a red herring, if you will. We don't want to talk about the concrete issues that people are facing.
The lady who runs the place comes out. She's like, hey, I got that. This dude pushes her on the ground there. Pushes her and then starts like kicking the sprinkler system. At the same time, we got in my home state, Texas, Governor Greg Abbott, another genius. Greg Abbott, really, really brilliant dude, signs into law one of the nation's strictest abortion measures, banning procedure as early as 6 weeks into a pregnancy. It would amount to an outright ban on abortions, as the 6-week cutoff is 2 weeks after a missed menstrual cycle, opponents say. Here's one more important thing to note about this. If the Supreme Court overturns Roe, each state would be free to enact its own laws on abortion. States like California and New York would almost certainly maintain laws that allow women to obtain abortions in most circumstances. A few states already this is so stupid, it's actually kind of funny. A few states already have so-called trigger laws that automatically ban the procedure in the event that Roe is overturned. This is what you guys are doing with your time. In 2020, an analysis in the New York Times estimated that at least 22 states would likely make abortion illegal without Roe. Uh-oh.
Hey. You're hurting the kids.
So, of course, as long as I've been alive, I've been watching this go on and just baffled by this. Because, of course, it makes no sense. This is from Chris Hedges, just to tell you what you already know. These same pro-lifers enthusiastically bless the military and the dropping of iron fragmentation bombs on Muslim families and villages in the Middle East, fervently support the death penalty, and absolve militarized police who gun down unarmed people. So, of course, that doesn't add up. Then you got the studies that if you think about this at all, you already know, which is that outlawing abortion, banning abortion, doesn't actually slow down abortions. It just makes them more dangerous. So if you just look at this casually, it doesn't really make any sense. You're just like, what's going on with these people? What's going on here? This doesn't add up. Are they just crazy? And no. I mean, we're making fun of people. I do this. There's historical precedent for this and context that's actually pretty easy to understand. So I'm going to give you the two theories that make sense of this absolutely bizarre thing that's going on across the country in the United States of America. Thank you. So here's a couple theories about what's going on here. The first one is, again, going back to Chris Hedges, Mr. Fire and Brimstone himself. I really like Chris Hedges, very smart guy.
Are you a fan of Washington? No. Because of the slaves, or?
Very good guy. His theory on this, and I'll put a link to his article below, is that what's going on here is basically a sort of a Handmaid's Tale type situation. Almost exactly a Handmaid's Tale situation, where birth rates are falling in the U.S., and instead of providing incentive for women to give birth, like more paid leave, giving them money like a lot of other countries do, supporting women in a way that would encourage them to having a baby, making having a baby easier. Instead of doing that, because they don't want to spend that money, they're just going to basically try to force women, Alfred, what is her name? Alfred style, to give birth. That's his theory. I don't know if I totally buy that, because as we've seen here, banning abortions, putting laws on abortion doesn't really actually really incentivize women to give birth. It just makes it more dangerous. So there could be something to that. But I think the more convincing argument here is the more obvious one. And I'll just read this here. Something we've known, and she's a good cartoon character to kind of get a good view of this. So this woman, Amy Coney Barrett, who's like a new Supreme Court justice, she's the one who everybody's like, oh, she's going to be a big part of overturning Roe v. Wade. She's very anti-abortion. Report. Coney Barrett sided with corporations over people 76% of the time. This is what it's really about, I would say. If I had to guess, this is the most obvious. This is what we kind of knew during the Bush administration. And one of the best explanations I've ever heard, actually Chris Hedges talks about this, and a bunch of historians talk about this. The best explanation I've heard for the rise of fascism, especially in Italy, is that it was a con, a trick to keep people who were socially discontent, economically discontent, to kind of redirect their energy away from leftist stuff and kind of New Deal stuff, away from that, and into this kind of stuff, basically. To basically trick them to put that energy into places where it wouldn't affect siding with corporations, over 76% of the time. Probably the most convincing argument I've heard. If you look into the details, makes a lot of sense. Blah, 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 blah. Do your own research. You history nerd you. So is this issue important? Of course. Of course it is. Should women and people and everybody fight against this because women should have control over their own bodies? Duh. Yes, of course. Easy one. Easy one. Okay? But what's behind this, what's really going on, in my view, in my guess, is this. It's a sort of a con. It's a trick, not only to distract the sort of like Christian right in the middle of the country.
It isn't.
But to also give the other side something that they have to keep thinking about and fighting against. So, which means that this actually could happen, that they might actually overturn this because it would actually make political sense. It would keep this as in the forefront, keep this as a giant distraction. And I don't mean distraction in the way that it's not important, but distraction in terms of a con, in the same way that fascism was used. That historical explanation and interpretation of fascism.
No.
So that's my guess. I mean, this is, the easiest con out there. This guy.
No. So let me explain something to you. No.
Is very big on this. They squeeze a lot of attention. They squeeze a lot of, they really squeeze the rubes on this one. And of course, Ted Cruz, this is a big thing. I'm just going to read this because this is, it is great. Ted Cruz and GOP senators' latest attempt to ban abortion pill is full of lies. This is from September 2020. On Tuesday, Senator Ted Cruz, along with 19 other Republican senators, filed a letter with the Food and Drug Administration calling for the abortion pill to be banned from the U.S. market. The letter calls for the drug, used in nearly 40% of U.S. abortions, to be classified as a, quote, imminent hazard to public health. And of course, the genius, we're so lucky to have this guy, the most important philosopher and public mind right now, Jordan Peterson. He's still around. We're still talking about him. I found this clip while I was like looking at stuff for this. Jordan Peterson, the abortion pill and its ramifications.
We were talking about abortion, and I made a case that that's really not a very productive discussion because you're talking about a problem way too late in the sequence of problems. So by the time the discussion starts to be about abortion, there's 50 problems that have already emerged that no one has addressed. And some of those problems the fundamental problem is how human beings should regulate their sexual behavior.
So Jordan Peterson, in the most long-winded and insufferable way possible, goes on and on and on for 20,000 minutes about how abortion is bad, basically. And which he even says in another video, which I'll put a link to, it's wrong. But more interesting than that boring thing is the background of this video. If you just look at this, the background of this video, which this event is sponsored by the American Enterprise Institute. And this is like a perfect visualization. And of course, Jordan Peterson has been part of this for the past 6 or 7 years or whatever. A perfect, just if you wanted to encapsulate what this whole issue is about, is just this image. You could just screenshot this right here. Jordan Peterson going on and on and on, putting you to sleep about how abortion is bad, with an organization sponsoring the event that took $86 million from the Koch brothers. I mean, yeah, that's what this is about. This is pretty obvious. It's how can we distract people from us having to pay taxes and us being regulated, and even worse, like employees having to be paid more. How can we distract? How can we redirect all that energy? And here you go. This is what you get right here. So we'll see what happens. I guess this goes to the Supreme Court next year, and this will happen. Hey everybody, and thanks so much for watching this video. Like all the other YouTube and podcast perverts, I now have a Patreon. Every week on this Patreon, I'm uploading 2
exclusive
Patreon exclusive shows. They're like real shows, more produced, more edited.
a behind-the-scenes show where I reveal all my secrets, and a show where we go deep on an important topic that you will want to know about. Also, you get the daily and complete live show audio-only feeds. And at the top level, for only 25 bones, you can become a producer. These people that you're seeing right here make this program possible. Without them, nothing. It goes right in the toilet, right in the trash, and we set it on fire. It's these people who make it work. So please, for Christ's sake, become a patron. Bye-bye, love you.